Hello, this is Josh from Monastery Dropouts. Today I want to talk about the peace that exists in every moment and the bliss that exists in every moment, and talk about how simple it is and how easy it is to get there. We talk about enlightenment and Samadhi as foreign concepts that are far away and they don't really make sense, and we have to make some epic journey to get there. But the reality is that they're sitting right there all the time. You are them all of the time. And all the great teachers throughout history have talked about that. And so I wanted to give some insight into it and see if we can come to an understanding of how simple it actually is and how apparent it actually is, and give a technique for experiencing it, or a guide for moving towards that. So in Western culture, we have this concept of subject and object, that we are somehow this physical form and everything else is distinct and far away from us. It's some other object. It's foreign to us in some sense. And that's the exact opposite of how things actually are. It's our culture teaches us that that's the reality, but that's not the reality. And in deep meditation, there is no subject object. Things are unified. You are unified with other people. You are unified with the world around you. You are unified with things. And masters oftentimes don't talk about things. The world's made up of things. And they don't talk about how they love things and things love them. But the reality is that consciousness pervades all things that exist in the physical world. And in those higher states of consciousness, even objects around you in this room, like the chair behind me, or the statues of Ganesh and the Buddha, those things have forms of consciousness. And they have deep, deep love from the primitive consciousness that pervades all things. There is no separation in those things. In that deeper consciousness which pervades all of reality, it's all love, it's all bliss. And what happens in those deeper states, in the states that we're in right now, and you may not be conscious of it, but you're in it. It seems so far away, but it's right there. There's a merging of consciousness and space and bliss and joy and love. In Eastern philosophy and Indian philosophy, they have the Om, Tat, and Sat. And it's consciousness, spaciousness, and bliss. And there is also love in that bliss. So the confusion lies in the fact that we have these physical bodies, and our culture and our upbringing teaches us that we are the body, we are the mind, we are the thoughts, we are the emotions. But those things are just happening in this small frame. And your consciousness is all of the creation. It's everything around you. And in deep meditation, you find your consciousness in a wider reality. And all of the room turns into spaciousness. And your body is just a piece of that. So that means that your thoughts are just a piece of that. And your emotions are just a piece of that. And you don't even have to view your thoughts as part of you. They're almost a foreign thing. They help you navigate in this world, but in a wider consciousness that you actually are, you just say, oh, there's a thought. And it's just a thought moving. And you watch it, but it doesn't feel like it's a part of you. It doesn't feel like it is you. When you see an emotion, you say, oh, there's an emotion. But it's almost like seeing a bystander walking down the street. You say, oh, there's my neighbor. Oh, there's my other neighbor. And they look differently and they act differently, but they're just something that's moving inside you. So if you are looking at things as you're there and they're separate, that isn't the ultimate truth. The truth is that when you walk down the street and you look into someone else's eyes, you are looking at yourself. If you're in a crowd of people and you see different people passing, coming and going, you can look at them and know that that is you in a different form crossing your path. You are unified with that in a deeper state of consciousness. And that can be a form of meditation. If you live in a city, it's a perfect meditation because there's so many people around. And as you walk, you can simply look at the other person and feel a deep love for them and recognize that the eyes that you see in them are your eyes. And as you do this more and more, you feel more and more love for people, and you love the body that you inhabit. The movement of those people and the movement of your body is a loving interaction. That movement is so beautiful. And so we need to get away from the idea of subject-object. That's things are separate from us. And it's important in meditation to recognize that your body is within you, the room is within you, objects are within you. It's a unified field. And that unified field is a field of loving presence. There was a teacher named Ram Dass, and towards the end of his life, after he had a stroke, he talked about how he loved everything. And he loved things. He loved his pain. He loved his wheelchair. And it's a weird thing to say you love things, because most spiritual teachers say to get away from things. But that's just the attachment of things. The reality is that all those things have consciousness. And it's loving you just as much as you are loving it. And the interactions in this world are just blissful. On every interaction, it's just blissful. Another teacher had a guru, and his teaching was to just say, I am, as a meditation. I am. And that is a good meditation, because as you incorporate a wider and wider reality, you realize that you are that. And so I would use that as a meditation as well. If you're sitting in a room, just say, I am, and observe the world. Be a witness of the world. And when you see the room, say, I am, and recognize that you are the room. And recognize that your heart is in all things. Not this physical heart, but the heart chakra encompasses the entire room and everything in it. And when you see something, just say, I am. That helps us get away from thoughts and judgments. Because if you are that, then how do you judge it? You just love it. You love yourself. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. And so I'm looking into the camera right now, and I see this small body, but I feel the room, and I feel the small body within the room, and I can just say, I am. I am. And so as you watch me, you can say, I am, and recognize that my eyes are your eyes. And that is a form of meditation, just seeing yourself in all things and saying, I am. And as your consciousness expands and expands and expands, and as you let go of thoughts and as you let go of judgments, those things become inside you. They become you. And any interaction becomes a blissful experience of love. There is no longer subject and object. The Buddhists say subject, object, and action. And what happens is you begin to see things as spatial, as vibration. And so the vibrations are just interacting with each other. The energies are just interacting with each other. And the spaciousness is almost like a shimmering spaciousness where it almost looks fake, like you could stick your hand through a wall. And you physically can't do that, but it feels like that. And you can feel that being a part of you. You can feel the room radiating and pulsating, and you can feel it within you, and you can feel the bliss of it. And it's just so beautiful. And so as you interact with people and as you interact with the world, you can say, I am, inside your head, and feel love towards the other person, and try to incorporate them within your wider consciousness. My dad isn't a very spiritual person. He goes to church every week and does those normal actions, but he doesn't meditate, and I doubt he prays much. And I had asked him once when I was younger if he had ever experienced anything like what the Buddhists talk about, with expanding beyond your body and things like that. And he told me one time in his life, he was hammering in the garage, and he kept hammering away, this just such a repetitive motion. And he wasn't trying to do it, but he said at some point, because of the repetitions, his mind, his thoughts shut off, and he felt like he was a mouse in the corner of the garage, and he was just watching his body hammer away at this object. And that is kind of what the beginnings of feeling that expanded consciousness is. Your thoughts stop, and all of a sudden you're watching yourself. Your body is just a part of this wider view. And so people pop in and out of that. And my dad probably never experienced that again, but he experienced a form of expanded consciousness in his life, and he probably never thought much of it. He may not even remember it. He told me that like 25 years ago, and it really stuck with me. So when we talk about heaven being on earth, and we talk about how we live in a non-dual reality, where the foundation of the world is oneness, that is what we're talking about. And it's hard to describe it in words, and it's hard to try to explain that to another person. But I'd like to give pointers, and hopefully more and more people will move towards that experience. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to sit in a room and meditate. You can say I am and feel the world within you. You can feel that connection with other people all day long. You can do your work and do it. I want to share those experiences with you all and share with you the idea of this non-dual reality and what it is to feel expanded awareness, because I think a lot of people don't give a lot of details when they talk about it. And so those are ways that when I pop out of it and I'm stuck in emotion or stuck in thought, those are ways that help me pop back into it. The simple mantra, I am, or looking at another person and saying, I love you, but feeling yourself in the other person. And then doing that with the wider world. Don't only incorporate that person, incorporate everything that you can see and feel around you and say, I love you, and know that that is you. If you look at the room around yourself, or if you look at the place that you are in the world, if you're listening to this driving in your car, you can see the landscape around you. You can feel the car around you. You can see the clouds and the road, and that's all part of you. And you can just simply say, I love you. And you can say, I am, and feel all of that inside you. Feel the movements as joy. Feel the other people and the other cars as movements within you. It's a really beautiful process, and you'll feel all your chakras opening, and you'll feel that connection. And when people see you, they'll see the softness behind your eyes because you love them so much, because you're loving yourself. So everything around you is movements of yourself. And it just makes you feel amazing. It's just bliss. So thank you for joining me on this long explanation. And I hope you can feel those blessings and those joys. Thank you for joining us at Monastery Dropouts, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.